it just keeps happening. On June 27th at 4 o'clock, a Russian precision missile struck a busy shopping mall in the Ukrainian city of Kremenchuk. At this point, 18 people are confirmed to have lost their lives, and at least 36 are still missing, presumed dead. More than 56 people were wounded. Videos taken by people inside the mall at the time of the attack shows an absolutely terrifying situation. The shopping mall itself is located near the city center, far from anything that could even resemble a military installation. I probably don't even have to say this, as I'm sure you all know this by now, but bombing places with many civilians is the Russian strategy in Ukraine. They do it with the hopes that it'll wear down the Ukrainians so much that they'll have to sue for peace. It has pretty much been the main Russian strategy from the very beginning of the war, and I know I've said this before, but Russia is using the exact same tactics as terrorist groups such as ISIS or Al-Qaeda, the only difference being that Russia has much better weapons. The tactic of deliberately blowing up civilians in crowded places remains the same though. The Russians has of course already been out there calling all footage of the attack fake, saying that what we think is a crowded shopping mall is in fact a weapons depot.
Ну и вот вчера все средства массовой информации на Западе взорвались видеороликами из Кременчуга, где они показывали кадры горящего торгового центра, обвинив российских военных в том, что они бомбят гражданскую инфраструктуру. Министерство обороны России очень четко и понятно разъяснило, что на самом деле произошло. Бомбили ангар, куда прибыло американское и европейское оружие и боеприпасы. И в результате детонирования... Мы вам не мешаем здесь, нет? И в результате детонирования боеприпасов загорелся стоящий рядом пустующий торговый центр.
I've also sadly been hearing more than a few people on the internet saying things like, why are there even people out shopping when there's a war going on? Statements such as those are very stupid. First of all, life doesn't just freeze because of war. People still need to buy stuff. That has been true in all wars that has ever happened. Besides that, look at the map. The front line is here. And here is Kremenchuk. That's a distance of almost 200 kilometers. Now if the Russian military had any honor whatsoever, those civilians would have been perfectly safe, but the Russian military has no honor. They use their long-range weapons, something Ukraine doesn't have, to make sure that no Ukrainian in any part of the country can feel safe. That is how terrorism works, and that is why they deliberately bombed the Kremenchuk shopping mall. Simple as that. Terrorism. Several other Ukrainian cities have also been struck. Residential neighborhoods in Kyiv has also been in the crosshairs of Vladimir Putin. Here, Russian missiles struck down in random apartment blocks. Again, not even close to any sort of military installations. At least one person lost his life and 6 others were wounded, including a 7-year-old girl and her mother. And again, with no sort of military facilities in the vicinity. The same thing happened in Odessa, but much deadlier unfortunately. Here, the Russians struck a civilian apartment complex with a high-precision anti-ship missile, the same type that they used to hit the shopping mall in Kremenchuk. Much of the building was completely destroyed on impact, with the rest of it set ablaze. At least 21 innocent people lost their lives, including 2 children. Another 31 people were seriously hurt, including a pregnant woman and 4 infants. And I'm sure I don't even have to say this, but once again, there was no military targets in sight, and besides that, the Russians are using precision weapons. They know perfectly well where their missiles are going to strike down. This is not accidents, it is premeditated murder of Ukrainian civilians with the aim of causing terror. In Mykolaiv, another residential apartment building was hit by a Russian missile. Several apartments were blown out on impact, while much of the building came crashing down. Rescuers were quick to arrive on scene, where they did everything they could to save people trapped beneath rubble. In total, 8 innocent civilians lost their lives, while another 6 were wounded. The attacks on Kremenchuk, Odessa and Mykolaiv are unfortunately not the only Russian attacks aimed at Ukrainian civilians as of late. They are just the deadliest. In addition to attacking those 3 cities, the Russians have also shelled several dozen smaller Ukrainian villages, causing many civilian casualties. I'm not going to mention each of those individual attacks in this video, there are simply too many of them, and that's without even counting the total destruction of the cities of Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. Those 2 cities have been almost completely wiped from the face of the earth by Vladimir Putin. Now I want to talk about something very important. Over the past few weeks, I've seen a very scary tendency here in the West. A tendency that in time could lead to some sort of Russian victory if it isn't stopped. That tendency is that we are normalizing the war. Even with the war at its deadliest, it's rarely making headline news anymore. People are talking less and less about it, and that could have very bad consequences. Because if enough people stop caring about the war, our politicians and leaders will too. The result of that could be that Ukraine doesn't get the weapons they need. And that is exactly what Vlad the Mad is counting on. Right now, Ukraine is in desperate need of weapons, especially artillery, and they are counting on the West to deliver those weapons. And the more we normalize this war, the slower those weapon shipments will arrive. And that is something that cannot happen, because if Vladimir Putin fully gains success in Donbass, he will move to take the rest of Ukraine. We need to be very clear about this, and a success in Ukraine will only embolden him even more. Ukraine is right now shielding the rest of Europe from Russian aggression, and the brave Ukrainians are fighting hard. They have already eliminated close to 37,000 enemy troops. But one thing Russia is not in shortage of is cannon fodder, and the Russian command have no issue with sending soldiers to their deaths. That mindset and a lot of artillery means that the Russians continue to gain ground in Donbass, and behind them they leave a trail of utter death, disease and destruction. The misery they have caused the Ukrainian people will never be forgotten, and the scars they have made will not heal for several generations. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, I would be very happy if you would go and give it a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.